Hi, I'm Sue Dockerill, and I'm a parent educator. I've been working with families going apart for 20 years, life and family coach. I've coached a lot of kids going through divorce and their parents. I offer kind of a special program where I kind of show up in the home and talk with the kids and the moms and dads and get everybody kind of like focused on the situation. It's so easy to get caught up in divorce and fall into some of the traps because of the feelings that people have. It's a difficult time going apart. Nobody prepares for divorce. It's something that just happens. When relationships don't work, they typically go through some phases. And when you understand, that everybody is getting divorced for the same reasons, it's you start to see that, wow, you're not in this alone. 60% of all marriages are ending in divorce, which means you have a greater chance of getting divorced than you do staying married. And when I look into the eyes of my students and I say to them, I know why you're all getting a divorce, they look at me like I'm a little crazy. Like, you have no idea why I'm getting a divorce. And I like to say, well, yes, I do know why you're getting a divorce. See, statistics shows that two people don't just wake up one morning and say, gee, honey, let's get a divorce. Do you want me to file or should I file? Statistics shows that one of you starts to figure it out before the other one. In fact, the way that looks is like, you start to realize, hey, in this marriage, I don't feel loved. I don't feel valued. I don't feel like I belong. I don't feel like I have any power to change it, to make it better. And it's really frustrating when you feel so powerless and undervalued and you don't feel loved. It's goes against your grain. And people have a tendency to misbehave when they're not getting their needs met. And usually what you need more than anything is love and understanding. But when you're not feeling loved, it's very easy to feel hurt. And when you feel hurt, you have a tendency to, instead of being loving, you have a tendency to hurt back. And it creates a very vicious cycle in most relationships, well, in all relationships. And it has a lot to do with what we've learned. You hurt me, I hurt you back. That's kind of ingrained in us. If you look at parent education, most good parents know that when their child makes a mistake, it's your job to punish them. It's your job to discipline them. And we're very confused in what that looks like. Oftentimes we're taught, make children feel worse in order to get them to do better. And so what happens is we all grow up. I'm sure every one of us can remember a time we've been punished by our parents and how it felt. Well, it makes sense, doesn't it, that when you would grow up, you get married, and you would probably, when your husband or wife misbehaved, you probably didn't do anything to make them feel better. You probably did something to make them feel worse. It's a form of punishment, hoping that they would do better. I mean, the people that loved us, our mothers and fathers, loved us so much, and they did it to us. It would make sense that you would grow up with a belief system that says you have to suffer in order to learn. And so oftentimes when we're not getting our needs met, instead of checking in with each other, that would mean getting up in the cortex part of your brain. There's the old brain back here, the limbic, and then the brainstem. And most of our reasoning is up here. Unfortunately, we have this little amygdala file back here, and it's kind of like the file for everything that's ever been said or done to you. It's inside of our brain. And so even things you don't remember, they're kind of programmed in there. And oftentimes when it's very stressful, that's the gasoline, we get triggered and our brain goes off. And then all of a sudden, have you ever had those moments where you start to spew things out of your mouth and you don't really mean them, but you're feeling angry and upset, and you know that what you're saying isn't making the situation better, but you don't have the on and off switch, and oftentimes it makes the situation worse. And people have a tendency to do things to escape those feelings. Some people become workaholics, some people become alcoholics, some people get their needs met by creating activities where they feel stronger. But unfortunately, when the relationship is no longer supporting the love, then people have a tendency to go apart. Now, I'm not here to fix anybody's marriage, but I do think it's helpful to understand that there's really nothing wrong. It's two people that lived in the same house for a certain amount of time that were not able to meet each other's needs. And as a result, you went apart. You grew apart to the point where many of you have tried counseling, and probably what happened is you went home and fought about what you said to each other in counseling. And it just gets to be a snowball, because it's very difficult for people when you've got all these circumstances happening out there in the world coming at you. And it's easy for those circumstances to create upset in your life. And we end up reacting to everything that's said or done to us instead of causing. And so in the program I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you some tools that can help you cause life to go the way you want it to go because you say so. So I am very excited about you joining us. There's 4 parts to this program. Just take one part at a time. Write down some notes and some questions along the way. And when you have a question, write it down. And at the end of the 4 parts, you'll be calling me and we will schedule a session, a follow-up session. I'm very committed to create an online class that helps you interact with the program. Because, I could write down all these things that you already know about how you shouldn't say bad things, that you should, not talk badly about the other parent, and don't use the children as a pawn, and don't use them as a messenger, and keep the kids out of it. But, inside, I think everybody knows those things. What if you could actually change the way you think about the other person? And all of a sudden not have that reaction to each other that you've had over the years? And what if you could kind of get to a more peaceful place where both of you can see the divorce as the solution, and that it's your job to kind of, divide everything up and give each other a fresh start. So, welcome to A Child's Life Depends on a Peaceful Resolution. I hope you enjoy our program. I'm Sue Dockerill, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.